So today we're going to talk about kind of funny situation because the host I have no issue with. It's the situation surrounding him that made me just kind of leave. And the other issue I'll talk about next week, but this week the main issue was my twin brother. And the first thing you have to understand is me and my twin brother, we are identical twins, but we are what I term competitive twins. There are twins that get along to the point they can have threesomes together and all. Me and my twin brother, not so. We're both genetically the same, and the only difference between the two of us is how we live our life. And so there's always this quiet competition between the two of us. Unfortunately, when you include an outside person, that's when it gets really toxic, as you will hear about. So I invited my twin brother to come to join this group. And just like when I started to train my twin brother in the gym, he's very grateful. He's like, thank you so much and all that. But at some point, as always, he switches. Like for the gym, one day it was like, oh, you think you know better than bodybuilding.com. Or his most common one, just because you think you go to university, you think you're so smart. And this started to rear its head even in the gaming. The best example of this is when we were playing Successors. It is about the Diadochi Wars or the successors of Alexander the Great. At this point in the game, my twin brother was basically out of the game. He needed a Hail Mary to win. So it's between Doc and me. Doc is transporting Alexander the Great's body to Macedonia to bury to win. I am going north to steal the body to bury it in Egypt to win the game. And we both have powered almost all our armies into this. Massive armies. And we meet, we give our war speeches, and then we start to roll the dice. Now, a bit of context. Even before my brother came to this group, I had made a rule, which is the rule from Rodney Smith from Watch It Played, which is dice that are rolled on the table must be flat for it to count. Completely flat. Alright? So, we roll the dice, and Doc rolls a 1. He totally whiffs. I roll the dice, and it rolls, it pops off the Taiki cards, and lies straight on the cards. So devil cards is, the dice is flat on the cards, and it's a 6. Trample damage for my elephants. Big time advantage. And I cheer, of course. And after I cheer, Doc leans over and then he, quite sheepishly, because I think he knows this is bullshit, he goes, it's not flat on the table. And I look at him, and you know we rib each other all the time. So I look at him and at first, he wasn't rescinding it. I was just looking at him. And then I go, no. The cards are here, it's flat. The dice is flat on the cards. So this is okay. You know, and he was hesitating. But again, like I say, when there's an outside person, my twin brother comes in and he goes, this is his house. He gets to choose. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Claw. Claw is this thing between him and my twin brother. So they go claw. And they almost like dancing and it's really getting on my nerves. And I wait for the celebrations to finish. And then I don't look at my twin brother because I know what he is doing. But I look at Doc and I go, you know this is bullshit, right? Are you seriously asking me to reroll this? And again, I could tell he's hesitating, but then again, my twin brother goes, this is not your house. You don't get to choose. He gets to choose. He gets to choose. And Doc goes, yeah, it's my house. I get to choose. Reroll. I reroll. I get a 1. He gets a 6 at some point. He wins the game. And yeah. And things like this just continue to happen. It always feels I'm battling 2 people in a game. On top of which, there's this dynamic where I choose the game, right, from Doc's collection, and then I learn the game. By the way, I'm not perfect, but it's the effort. So I put in the time to learn the game and all, and I'll teach the game, right? Here's the thing, my twin brother watches an overview video. And whenever he doesn't like a ruling, he will go, no, that's not correct. I watched the video. This is not how the rules are. He doesn't pick up the rule book. He just says it. So I have to check against myself. And when I point out, the rules say this, he tends to go, okay, if you want to cheat, you go ahead, you cheat. So I'm starting to really hate going to this place now. So I started to go less and less. And at this point, my friend D is leaving the country. So I started to use this excuse to go even less. At some point, Doc must have noticed because one day he said, you know what? I only have this 2-player game. Why not this week just you and me turn up? I know he was trying to mend things probably. So I turned up and unfortunately at that point it was just too late. You know, I could not see a way to solve the twin brother situation because at this point we weren't even talking to each other. And what am I going to expect from Doc? For him to ask my twin brother to leave? And you have this outside situation which I will talk about next week. So I just, finished the session, and then never gamed with him ever since. And it's an unfortunate situation. Anyway, that's it. Next week we'll talk about the other one that solidified my decision to leave completely. And you want to hear about that? Come back next time. Till next word.